Chinese President Xi Jinping with a very laughable claim. The head of one of the most sleazy, corrupt, unethical, thieving nations in the world is playing the victim tonight in the midst of a trade war that's put a spotlight on his nation's awful behavior. Today, the Chinese escalated things further, raising tariffs on American goods from 84 to 125% and releasing this statement that China and the EU should fulfill their international responsibilities, jointly maintain the trend of economic globalization and the international trade environment, and jointly resist what he calls unilateral bullying. Yes, bullying. His foreign minister sounding the same, saying give the bully an inch, he will take a mile. Apparently in China, the definition of a bully is anybody that stands up for themselves after about 40 years of abuse. Earlier this week, investor Kevin O'Leary reminded Congress why Trump has picked such a politically risky fight with the Chinese Communist Party, a fight that is threatening his approval rating right at the start of a 4-year term. Take a listen.
You have just told the story of 1 million small businesses in America over the last 20 years. They innovate, they create, they're entrepreneurs, they prove their product in the American consumer market. At around 5 million in sales, they're knocked off. By whom? China. Very often, the same plants that ran the molds under a relationship they had with the company. A lot of companies went to China 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and put their molds there. And during the day, the company would run the WeatherTech mat, in this example, here theoretically. And then at night, they'd run the knockoff mat. And they would bring it into the market, let me guess, 30% off retail of WeatherTech. And I've seen this happen countless times. And in some cases where the company's very small, they go out of business. And nobody hears that tree falling in the forest. It happens thousands of times.
That's such a good point. Nobody ever hears those stories, right? How many companies are just molested and then ripped off and then torn apart by the Chinese? O'Leary continuing on, the Chinese blatantly hijack American businesses. And there's no repercussions because Americans don't have any access to Chinese courts. So they can just do this to you, and you have nothing that you can do about it, as they just steal your IP, they steal your whole business. Most don't understand the struggle to start a business. Most people have never done it, but those first few years are often terrifying. Debt-ridden, trying to find market share, a customer base, that's all the work, all the effort of building it up, right? That's everything. The Chinese allow American business owners to struggle through all of that. And then once they have a foothold, once they start making some money, then you get ripped off by your production partner because you decided to make your product in China because it is so cheap to do. The Chinese steal your IP and dump your same product back onto the market at a price that you cannot afford to match because you've got to operate everything else. They're just taking the final product in production and then selling it themselves. That's how sleazy these people are. Disgusting, the CCP. Imagine the fury you'd feel. Right now, Trump is taking a swing at these people that no one else has ever had the guts to take, although they've talked about it for the last 20 or 30 years. He's taken a swing for millions of business owners who've been put through this hell over the past several decades. 80% of intellectual property theft in America is committed by the Chinese. 80%. That's $600 billion a year. That is a tremendous amount of money. And they steal everything. No morals, no conscience. That's communism. And with all that stolen money, China wants to take over the world.
At this point, the IC assesses that China is our most capable strategic competitor. Under the leadership of President Xi Jinping, the People's Republic of China seeks to position itself as a leading power on the world stage, economically, technologically, and militarily. China's military is fielding advanced capabilities, including hypersonic weapons, stealth aircraft, advanced submarines, stronger space and cyber warfare assets, and a larger arsenal of nuclear weapons.
Right now, the Chinese meeting with the socialist, communist leader of Spain, trying to lure the EU over into China, trying to fight that way. That's what happened today. This week, the president picked a very justifiable fight with a terrible government. The Chinese Communist Party are felons. Just this week, the Wall Street Journal reporting the CCP party members revealed that China was in fact behind cyber attacks on the U.S. government in recent years. They're practicing how they're going to decimate our country someday. We've caught them doing it many times. The United States made a serious error 25 years ago when we normalized trade relations with this country. We have subsidized the creation of our most dangerous adversary that could very quickly become an enemy. Trillions of our dollars. Just think about it. It's $600 billion a year just in the intellectual property theft that they steal. That alone is $600 billion a year. Think of the trillions of our wealth that has been sent to China so that they can try and outrun us, try to decimate us. And now the process of decoupling is going to be very painful because of that. But does that mean it shouldn't be done? That's what Democrats are alleging, even though they've said for the last 20 years that a lot of these things need to be done. Because Trump's doing it, they're saying we shouldn't do it. It appears, though, that voters realize, despite the media rhetoric, that Trump has picked a very risky fight for them, one that no other politician would do because all they care about, again, is getting reelected, staying popular. He's picked this fight for the people of this country. Swing state approval, as you see here, remaining very strong amid all this economic instability and the terrible headlines that have come with it.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt Tonight on Newsmax.